Welcome to the Cristen and Jeff Show, Episode 7. A friend, Scoble Wiggins, might be one of the cooler names. We got a lot of cool names going on recently.
We do.
So we'll talk about this.
I like Scoble.
And she is an incredible sports photographer. I showed you a couple of her things.
Yeah.
Now you could look her up. I think it's SC. Forgive me, Scoble, if I don't spell this right, because your name is Scoble, but Scoebel, Wiggins, Wiggins. And she said no straws on set. But then how are we going to drink a smoothie without a straw?
Maybe we need clear straws, or maybe they need to be those nice stainless steel or glass straws. Not only is it more, they're environmentally friendly. They're environmentally friendly.
That's what you just said.
And is that right?
You just said environmentally friendly. Why are you doubting yourself?
Yeah, that's right. Just too many lees and lees. Right? Environmentally friendly. Yeah.
Mostly.
Environmentally friendly. Yeah, so maybe we should do that.
Okay. Well, so, Skull, will you tell us what to do? Because we can't get blueberries stuck in our teeths.
No.
In our toofies.
No.
Whenever so.
No.
Yeah. So, anyway. But the smoothie's good this morning.
It is good this morning.
We kind of ran low on stuff, so it's a little bit of a mishmash of chocolatey and strawberries and...
chocolate protein powder. It's yummy.
Works. I hope you guys are enjoying your smoothies out there.
Yeah.
And then speaking of things that are liquidy... Why'd you give me... Did I say liquidy? Is it environmentally liquidy friendly?
No. It's speaking of liquidy things.
Liquidy.
Let's talk about water.
Okay. Yes. So we were in Bold. You know, we've been talking about how we're in this Keller Williams program by Dianna Kokoszka called Bold, which stands for Business Objective Life by Design. I think the more important part is the life by design, that you control your life. And they start talking about the power of water, and I got lost in the class. I needed Cristen to help me understand what was going on. But at one point, they said, if you take, 3 jars of water, and then what do?
So you have 3 separate jars of water, and you put rice in them. And then the same amount, 3 jars, you put rice in them, and you put the same amount of water in them. And 1 jar goes and you put it in like a dark place. And then the other 2 jars, one of them you write love or kindness, the other one you write hate or anger. And you place those 2 jars beside each other. Now, all 3 jars have the same amount of rice, same amount of water.
Are they filled? Is it like fill it rice?
It's like 3/4 water and then, 3/4 rice, and I believe it's water just past the fill line of the rice, something like that.
Okay.
We'll be sure to post the information on it. That way everybody can do it themselves, because we're going to do it this weekend, right?
We're doing it with the kids.
Right, we're going to do it with the kids this weekend. So this is... it's an incredible thing, because what you do is you go up and you speak words of kindness and love to 1 jar.
So do I pick? So there's 2 jars. Do I pick up the jar and talk to it?
You shouldn't pick it up. Just look at it and talk to it.
So the jar's sitting on one shelf, another jar on another shelf, away from each other, right? So they don't get, I guess.
Exactly.
And then I say words of kindness, like you're beautiful and wonderful and I love you.
Yes. And then the jar of anger, you say negative words, angry words, unkind words. You can even say names, of just different things that have negative around them or affiliated with them. And the intention of this is you can see the power behind what we speak actually affects water. And there's science behind this. Dr. Emoto is the one who, I believe, founded this study and has done a lot of research on it, showing that our ability to influence water just speaks to our ability to influence others, because we're made up of, 60% water?
I always thought it was like we're 90% water, but whatever it is, it's more than half of us is water.
Is water. So if we can speak to water that is with rice, and the rice will mold more so in the jar where you speak negative, then it just shows the power behind, if we're influencing water molecules, then when we speak to each other, what kind of influence is it having? And so it's incredible. There's even a video called The Secret of Water, I believe is what it's called. And just you can look it up on YouTube. It's an older video, but it shows water molecules, and it shows you that ones that were spoken negatively to, what they formed to what they look like. And it's incredible. And some of these things, you're going to look at them, you're going to be like, I am so skeptical of this. There's no way that when I say I love you, you are wonderful, you are enough, you are kind. And when you speak like that, water is going to have this beautiful molecules. Whereas the one where you're like, I hate you, you're horrible, you're worthless, and the molecules just look messed up. I mean, there's no way to describe it other than going to watch this video. But there's research behind it, and it's just incredible. So I'm excited to do the experiment with the girls this weekend.
Me too.
It's a long-going thing. It's not over the weekend that we'll see results. It'll be several weeks, but it'll be fun to start it with them this weekend.
And you guys will be able to hang with us and see what happens. Because, well, consider me this. One, I'm a skeptic.
Yeah, sure.
Because they showed it to me, but some things you have to see for yourself in life. Would you rather learn the easy way or the hard way? There's just some ones where you're like, listen, I know what you're telling me, but I got to go see it. So I have to see this for myself.
Sure.
But then consider me on the other end. One of my favorite things about you that you do is when you say life-changing. Because you have such an appreciation for the little things. And like Cristen will buy a new curling rod and say, oh, this is life-changing. And when you think about it, it's very positive. You're just so happy about something small, and you think that it made your whole life better. So what this class, though, was life-changing in that sense, this moment, because I'm like, if this is true, it's way deeper than I thought. Like, words are way deeper than I thought. That the whole sticks and stones can break my bones, but names will never hurt me is a wonderful philosophy and affirmation. But it's not really true.
Right. That
someone telling you you're not good enough, if it's true that how it affects water and water's inside of you and it really affects you that way, it's an illness. Right? It's an attack on your body.
Can you remember a time, even as a child, that someone said something to you that you'll never be able to forget that hurt you?
Oh my God!
Even if it was so silly, it just went into your core, and you still think about it sometimes.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Yeah. So, and me too. And it's interesting because those people aren't significant. They don't matter. Their opinion shouldn't matter. They didn't physically harm me, but something that they said has stuck with me my whole life. And it's made me think, even in fleeting moments when I was younger, maybe I am that, maybe they were right. And so it's incredible to think that that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but whatever it is, words will never hurt me. It's interesting because we're actually proving with ourselves, and then also with this little experiment, that it's the exact opposite of that.
Right.
That the words have stuck with us our whole life.
It's so true.
So it's interesting.
I know, you and I have commiserated on the fact that we know what bullying's like and all that stuff, and that stuff isn't fun. And certainly, for anybody out there who's listening who's been bullied, we know what it's like too. And there's times when I was beat up by a group of guys, and I didn't think about this till recently. I don't remember how bad it hurt when they were kicking me. I remember what they were saying to me. So it's very, very true. Yeah. And so what is wonderful, what's wonderful about life is, no matter what happened, and my Aunt Liz would say, you can be a prisoner of the past or an architect of the future. And so you realize, that stuff hurt you and hurt your water, right? Like in that sense. But you can start saying stuff to yourself that changes that around. And so I am completely bought in, but I got to see it for myself. Yeah. I got to see the whole thing, or I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine it, and I can't wait to do it. I'm glad that we get to kind of share this whole thing. And so what we'll do is, because I think we said what to do, but we'll be sure to post something on like, here, do it yourself, so you can do it too. Yeah. And then you can send. I would love to see your pictures too. Yeah. Because hopefully it looked gross when I saw the pictures. Yeah. So it's like, boof, it's kind of amazing. So anyway, we'll keep you posted on that whole thing.
And I'm excited that we're doing it with the girls, because this is something that you're just being introduced to now.
Right.
So if we introduce it to them at 3 and 7, it'll be exciting to see how it impacts them and who they share it with, and other kids they tell this to at school, and then they want to go home and try it. And I think it's exciting to teach this at such a young age, and hopefully it's something that sticks with them.
I don't want to stand up on my soapbox at the moment, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, I felt that.
You felt that.
Yeah, go ahead.
She knows me well enough to know about it. But this actually brings up a point that I would love for more people to not only share, but and it's my responsibility too to talk about this stuff. Kids go to school for 12 years, right, or 13 years, kindergarten through 12th grade. And why stuff like this isn't taught, why stuff like finances, balancing a budget, how to manage expenses, all the things in life that are so tough, that are so important, when to buy a house, when to buy things, when to get credit cards, I'll never understand. But this, to me, is a lesson that I am so excited that Autumn and Kaylee get to see at 7 and 3 years old, that I wish someone would have showed me every single, this might be a yearly thing we do. This might be an anniversary. Oh, hey, it's time to do this thing again, as a reminder of what we say. Because two kids, they'll think it's cool. And I don't know, because I'm 40 years old. I can't think like a seven-year-old every now and then, right? But if they see this consistently, they will be reminded forever how important what they say is, and also how important who they let, what they let people say to them is.
Right.
And so I'm excited for this because it's valuable, and I wish I would have known about it a long, long time ago.
Yeah, I did it when I was a teacher. I was a special education teacher for a little over 4 years, and I did this with my students. I also did an egg one, which is quicker results. It's instant results rather than with the rice.
Really?
And so we'll also post that as well. So if you have young ones and you want to teach them the lesson and have it be quick, sometimes that's better than having, like Autumn, being 7, for her to wait over the course of several weeks to see the results of the rice experiment. It's completely age appropriate. But for a little one, 3, 4, some lessons need to be learned instantly, especially if they're saying something unkind and you want to show them how that hurts people. The egg experiment is a good option for instant results. So we'll share that one with you guys as well. But it's something that I did as a teacher, and I couldn't agree more that it's a shame that teachers don't get the ability now to teach things that are near and dear to their heart that they know will help children, that are important to their growth and development. And it's just state standardized testing and what's required, and just getting the kids ready for that. So teachers, you are amazing for everything that you do, and I know that so often you want to provide something even better to the kids that you know will help them, and you're constantly supported in a matter of keeping it focused on state standards. So couldn't agree more. This is a great thing to take home and do with the little ones, and hope maybe more teachers will have the opportunity to bring it into the classroom.
I'm excited. I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope lots of people do this. I hope that lots of people start doing this. It would be great. And I'm excited to see it for myself. Okay, so let's move on. So we usually have a stat segment. I don't have a... We're still going to do it. I don't have a whole bunch of stats. Because I do. Well, I love the stats. And people are out there like me who like the numbers.
People like the stats.
Yeah.
You people say you like the stats.
I remember I had an investor one time who said, you can make anybody mad instantly by just saying, you people always do that. And it was so funny because he would just use it constantly. So you people is just...
Instead of saying you people in Texas, we say all y'all.
All y'all.
Because then you don't get mad. It's
well,
like,
all y'all sounds
all
good.
y'all say you like stats. All y'all want this.
But you said you people always like stats, but like, wait,
it's just too aggressive.
Right?
Be a little more southern. All y'all.
All y'all. So all y'all like stats. All y'all. What was it? The sign out in Austin that it said...
It's one person.
It was one stick figure. Yeah.
2 people is y'all. 3 people or more is all y'all.
I like that. That made me happy. So I always remember that sign. In fact, I want that as like a piece of art in our house somewhere. But so here's one stat, because for the show today, our guest is Skye Michiels.
Awesome guy.
Yeah, I was excited to have him on the show, and then I saw his class on repeats and referrals, and then I was double excited to have him on the show. But the stat for today is I grew up in Philly, in the city of Philly, but it really is almost like, it's on the literal outskirt. It's a quarter mile away from the line where it goes into the suburbs, in Chestnut Hill and Mount Airy. Now, so it kind of went Germantown, so it's Germantown, Mount Airy, and then Chestnut Hill. Chestnut Hill's right on the border of Philly. Germantown was not the greatest place to grow up. You didn't really want to be there too much. Germantown High School, I remember when I went there with my wrestling team, the Central High School wrestling team, it was not that there were armed guards, right? Because there were a lot of stuff. Yeah, it was
different.
Not school. Mount Airy was kind of transitional, and now you've seen it. Now it's great. Now it's a lot of fun.
It's wonderful.
But Chestnut Hill was, I can't describe it. It is these old Victorian homes. They look like, some of them look like castles. They're so unique. The stone fronts, just the wonderful architecture, and it was a place to live. And so Skye does business there. And so if you're thinking about like a nice affluent neighborhood, and we talk about economics of the world today, about where are things going and when's a shift coming, listings are down 50% from the year before in Chestnut Hill. So when we talk about the shift and what's coming, we call this a seller's market, but the truth is it is just a plain old, it is a seller's. You're going to get good price if you're priced reasonably well. You're going to get your house purchased quickly, but there's just not a lot of inventory.
Right.
So that is concerning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when inventory goes down, real estate agents start disappearing.
Yeah.
And the spring market's coming, and no one's seeing it flip around, change crazy, at least where we're at.
Right.
And so I'd love your inputs on that. Where do you see the market going? But it's funny. There's concerns.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Skye and I talked about this a little bit, but this is just such a weird time. Neither you or I were alive for Nixon, right? President Nixon, Watergate, a president spying on his own people, deleting tapes, doing all this crazy stuff, you know, and I don't even know half the things about it. I don't know if you know anything about it. I mean, I don't remember it. I don't remember any of that stuff. But so we have an economy today where our president, when we were growing up, Donald Trump he was kind of like considered a business genius, business mogul. And so if we just say, okay, fine, you're a business genius, he's also nuts. He's a TV personality in something. He's unfiltered. And so when you have this, you combine this business mogul with this TV personality, and who knows where it goes? It's like people are saying, I don't know if Korea's going to drop a bomb, or if you know, we're going to have this major economic boost from taxes. So it's just from taxes, you know, the new taxes. So it's like, wow. And you can see that affects the way people want to sell stuff and buy stuff. And right now, the real estate market is, yeah.
Well, it also affects the fact that Olivia feels the need to contribute. So my cat is
It's so crazy the
meowing
cat is in this.
really, really loud.
Meow.
So I'm sure you all heard that, but she clearly had a lot to say about your comments that you just made. She's behind me, screaming pretty much.
Yeah, she's very critical of the market right now.
She is.
I know, I go on.
We're going to do a session called Ask Olivia, Grace.
Oh, I like that. Just
put her up here. She has a lot of things to say.
She's very intelligent.
She is.
Highly intelligent. She has lots of... So anyway, I go on about that, but it's just interesting to see, just know that if you're in the real estate market right now and you think you're going to come in and everything's going to be hunky-dory, there's lots of people who want to buy houses, maybe, and there's not a lot of people who want to sell houses, and that seems to not be changing quickly.
And if you get them to sell, right, you get the listing, then most likely their question is going to be, where will I go?
Where will I go?
And that's the next challenge. And what will differentiate you from the other real estate agents out there is your ability to find them a solution with where they can go, get them obviously pre-approved, and make sure they're potentially able to do a cash offer over asking, something along those lines, because it is really competitive. We had someone open house last Sunday. 36 groups came through in 2 hours. 2 hours. So really incredible right now what we're seeing. And again, we're speaking specifically about the greater PA region. We are in the suburbs of Philadelphia. So this is how our market is here. And definitely interested in hearing about the other markets, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So in fact, that might be a nice segment to get one of the agents we really appreciate it. You know, we have so many out there that do such great business. To say, what do you do when you find a motivated seller and they want to buy? How do you walk them through that? Because it ain't going to be easy. So that's a fun thing. We can look into that.
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay. So let's. So we're going to jump into our interview with Skye Michiels, and we did this a couple days ago because he was in the Devon Wayne office, and we got to sit down and chat with him. Before we jump off to it, though, I mean, when you talk in any industry, and someone says, "Well, what's the best way? What's the best type of lead you can get? What's the best place to find business?" What do people always say?
Their database, their existing business, previous business.
Right.
Like their clients.
Right. So the easiest thing is to keep a client. Yeah. Number one thing is you want to keep a client, and then the second thing, if you want to get more, is to get those clients who, hopefully, see you as providing great service, to giving you referrals. And I think the head trash about this is that how do I do this? I'm uncomfortable. And Skye Michiels has taken this to a whole nother level.
He has.
And beyond what I understood, even I already knew he was the repeat and referral master. And then we do the interview, and both of us find out he's way better at it than we even thought.
Right.
So very excited to have him here, and we're going to jump over now, and you can see our interview with Skye. So we are here with none other than Skye Michiels. Welcome, Skye.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, Chris and I have decided we have a problem, which is that your name is too cool.
Really is too cool.
Yeah. How do you get a name like Skye Michiels? Did you change that, or is it really your name?
So, my the tag or the story I spin is that I had hippie parents, And I was born in 1977, so they were like ex-hippies. They were going to actually name me Skye, S-K-Y. And then the doctor that delivered me in upstate New York was, his heritage was Scottish. So the clan MacLeod was from the Isle of Skye off the coast of Scotland, S-K-Y-E. So that's where they got the spelling S-K-Y-E.
He just got cooler.
I know. I
I
was
know.
going to say the same
I know.
thing. Like, I expect you to just be like, yeah, it is a cool name.
Yeah,
but he
yeah.
has a story to go
Yeah,
with it.
my parents are hippies, so that's the classic
Oh.
one.
I love this. I love
Yeah.
this. Well, Skye, you get even cooler. So one of the reasons we wanted to have you on the show is you are a phenomenal producer. You've built a
Thank you.
phenomenal business, and there's some really unique things about it. So last year, 2017, when I have you did 90 million.
My team did
Your
that.
team did 90
Correct.
million
Yeah.
in sales volume.
Correct.
The amount you did in repeats and referrals
Mhm.
is what I think would blow most people's minds. So how much was that?
So we did 85% of our business, and that's just not my business, like the team's business was repeat and referral. So let's call it 75 million of the 90 were people we knew or people that someone we knew.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And I think, it's one of those situations where a lot of the agents on my team are moms and taking care of kids and have stuff beyond real estate. So you need to do a business that's very conversion heavy, right? The conversion rate of a referral is probably 90%. So they don't have time to call 100 internet leads. They barely have time to call one person. So when they make that call, it better convert into a lead. Do you know what I mean? So that's part of the philosophy.
It's amazing, Skye, because Cristen and I deal with new agents all the time. And I think the head trash, the drunk monkey, if we're speaking bold language, right, is that what volume do you think that the new agent thinks is like their cap for getting repeats and referrals? What do you think it is? 4 million?
I would probably guess around there.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think most people think, well, I can do 4 million with friends and referrals. And Skye is proving it that you can do
Way more.
So much
unlimited,
more.
right?
Yeah,
I mean,
unlimited.
It's really no limit is what you're proving.
Correct. Yeah.
And you said some interesting things. You just taught a class here. Most people, I think, would think, and Cristen wasn't in the class, so she would think, along with other people would think, your CRM has to be unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right? You have to have the highest grade, and you are a master of CRMs.
Yeah.
I'd like to think
Tell
so.
her,
Yeah.
tell everybody what you used for years.
For many years, we used a CRM that was free, that was simple, that syndicated across all communications, so phone, iPad, computer, and that was Google. So we used Google
Wow.
Contacts.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's blew my mind.
Yeah.
Guess how many fields he had?
5.
Really?
Because I call it junk.
Yeah.
What we like to do, and this is actually in life, what we like to do is load up with junk, right? And the reality is, if you can just simplify it, and if you just have their name, their address, their phone number, their email, and then a category, so you can determine, when to call.
Yeah.
That's all you really need to market to people that you know. We'd like to junk it up, their favorite color,
Oh, I love it.
their pets' names,
Yeah.
their birthday, even their birthday is a form of junk, because unless you're actually utilizing it in a system, most of the stuff we put into CRMs and databases is stuff that we don't use.
Right. Good
So-
intentions, right?
Exactly.
But we never do anything
Yeah.
with
So why use it and
Right.
why put it in?
Right.
And all it does is serve as noise and things that distract us.
Oh, yeah.
So we chase this oh, I'm going to do this birthday card campaign. Oh, but I don't have the birthday card. I can't do it. So
Oh, yeah. I mean, Cristen will tell you this is, I want the rating to be right.
yeah,
All these other things to be right. All the fields.
yeah,
And you're absolutely right. In fact, your rating consists of just A, B, and C.
correct. Simple.
And you said A is, well, what's A? What are A's?
So basically, when you create the category, so everyone knows obviously name, email, address, phone number. That's easy. The category, same thing as life. We want to junk it up, right? We want to create all these categories like golfers, doctors, and the rationale is smart because you're like, hey, well, I want to target my marketing to just people that play golf.
Right.
Or just people that are in the medicine field. But the reality is what happens, we make it so complicated that we never do anything with it except for create more categories.
Yeah.
So rather than do that, let's just simplify it. And A are people that you would email, call, text, or mail to. Those 4 things. B are people that you would text, email, or mail to. C is email.
Okay.
That's simple.
Simple. So this way,
A is people. Let me just get this
Yeah.
straight. So again, you have 5 categories, so people get it: name, address, email, phone number, and then category.
Category.
Category has three things. A, they'll take my call, text, or I will call, text, email, or mail them.
Correct.
B is just text, email, and mail.
Correct.
C is just email.
Correct.
That's it.
Simple. And the reason why is because for me personally, like I've very, very little time in my life, you know. I have a lot of things that are pulling me in a lot of different directions. So if I do have time that I'm going to dedicate to lead generation, I don't want to sit there and try to figure out who I want to call. And instead, all I got to do is pop up A's. And A's are the people I'm going to call.
And it's so simple to apply.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then the nice thing too is then A's and B's get anything I'm going to send out in mail. It's just A's and B's. And then everyone gets any kind of email I'm going to send out because it doesn't matter.
Now, when did you figure? So let's go back so people know. When did you get into real estate?
I got my license in 2002. I was a teacher at Haverford High School, so I envisioned it being a little bit of a part-time thing, just supplement my teaching income. Every teacher has their side gig that they do, and then it quickly became in 2002 it was 3, 4, 5, super easy to sell a house. You didn't deal with any mortgage issues, you didn't deal with any inspection issues, no appraisal issues. It was just a simple process. And we had double the transactions back then than we do now, so everyone could be successful at real estate. So it sort of took on.
Say that again, Skye.
Everyone could be successful.
You're saying you had double the transactions back then than you have now?
Now. No, not me personally, but the real estate community.
The community had double the transactions.
Correct. If you pull up like statistics, you'll see double the transactions because of the lending community or the lending environment was so loose.
It was just
anyone could 100% financing, no money down. Anyone. It was easier to buy a house than it was to rent.
Wow.
Reality. I mean, we all know these stories, but it's just interesting to hear you say it. There's just double.
So I could do it from the classroom a little bit. Now I think it's very, very challenging to do it part-time. Anyway, to make a long story short, 2005, I was doing 2 full-time jobs basically and made a decision to go full-time real estate and formed my team in 2013 after a lot of years of being an individual with a couple of admin, and then the team has sort of grown from there. So it's a background.
Okay. So I love that. 16 years, right? 2002 to 2016 years. What's the toughest thing you had to go through in the real estate business?
The toughest thing is giving things up. And that's so there's nothing I like more in real estate than helping a buyer buy a house. It is by far one of my favorite things to do because you become great friends with these people that you're, weekends, nights, you're going into these homes, you form this bond, almost like a military bond, right? Like you're in the trenches together.
Speaking my language.
So you form this amazing bond and you really go through this whole process together and, that bond doesn't break, So there's nothing I love more than that buyer side transaction. As I started growing the team and as I started trying to, give my time to different things, the hardest thing is that buyers take up a lot of time and you have to be ready to jump at a minute's notice. So the hardest thing has been this process of giving things up. And giving up the buy side has been really, really challenging, or was really challenging because of the fact that it's something you love. Like I love doing it. And when a referral comes in and they say, I want to work with Skye Michiels, it's really challenging to give up that buyer to someone on your team. And what you have to do is you have to have the trust in the people that you're giving that lead to, that they're going to operate better than what you're going to operate at, And that's sometimes people say, oh, no, but I want to work with you. I'm like, you do not want to work with me. I'm not good right now. Bria Stover on my team, she's amazing. If I was buying a house, I'd buy it with her because she's better than me, So it's that process of giving up. And that's, as you grow, it's that continual process of giving up stuff, giving up leadership opportunities, allowing your team to take a role like where you want to be the leader, but you see them starting to emerge and you let them take some leadership role. So it's sort of a vague answer to your question because it's not as specific, but it's a constant thing, that process of giving up, in order to grow, you have to give up.
And that's powerful to say that. And I'm curious too with that. So you said you started with 2 admin. So how did you go through that process of finding people that you could trust? So what's the first role you got after the admin, and how did you start giving those things up and turning those things over?
So when 2005, when I was going full time, I immediately not immediately, but pretty soon I hired a full-time admin right off the bat. I actually started out part-time, and then that person transitioned, and another person came in full-time pretty soon after that. Because I recognized like how much stuff I had going on. I had probably one admin for probably about 3 years, and then it was growing to the point where I was like, wow, this is way too much work for this one person. So that's where I hired my second admin, and we started to, like, once again, give up stuff, so specialize in these roles. So it was a transaction manager, and then a marketing person, and then me. And it was nice because when I took those things off my plate, all I really was doing was doing the appointments, going on listing appointments, negotiating deals, going to closings. I was able to leverage myself out really well. And then from there, in 2012, I was at a point where I was doing a lot of business with 2 admin, but there's too much realtor business that I couldn't get to. So that was the point where I made the decision I was going to start my team. And I put my yearly letter I put out. Carrie Waterman responded back, and it was the kind of phone call you get. And she's like, "Hey, are you still bringing someone on your team?" I'm like, "Done." She's one of the most amazing persons that I know, and espouses the ideals and the culture of our team, which is loving and caring about people. So.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah. So then it's grown since then.
And how many people are on your team now?
Currently, we are 11 other agents, so 12 agents total with me, and then 4 full-time admin.
Awesome.
Who's your favorite? Oh, I won't do it to him. I won't do it.
We don't have favorites.
We don't have favorites.
No.
Everyone is equal
No.
in the eyes of Skye. Kind of like that. I'm going to get you a plaque that says that. You said some other things in class that really got me. You don't send holiday cards. You don't say Christmas holiday cards because you said, why not?
Correct. End of the year cards. Number one, the sheer volume, of holiday cards that you get.
Everyone's getting one.
And we have the basket at home. They all get thrown in.
Flip them, right?
Often you don't even see them because someone got to it first, and they're like, "Oh, I wish I'd seen this card." So what we do is we send Thanksgiving Day cards, and 3 reasons why. Number one, no one gets Thanksgiving Day cards. Or very few people send Thanksgiving Day cards. Number 2, when you think about people getting together to, what do they do on Thanksgiving? They get together and talk about their life. Well, if they just got a Thanksgiving Day card, chances are they remember my role as a realtor, and if that conversation about buying a house comes up, that's going to be more likely to sort of connect right there. And then the final thing is sort of the culture of our team. We're all about caring about people. So real estate with heart, that's not just a tagline or the name of our team, but that's what we espouse in our business. So sending a card around Thanksgiving, around the theme of Thanksgiving, is sort of meaningful and impactful. So
that's one of those things that I feel like every agent who listens to this should take that.
Yeah.
I was telling a story about how I got a St. Patty's Day card, and I directly gave that person business.
Yeah.
And I didn't really think about it, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That worked.
Yeah.
Because I never got one, and he is a florist, and I literally had somebody who asked, and I sent him along.
Yeah. I've never had a Thanksgiving or a St. Patty's Day card.
Right. So
That's
it's the off holidays that matter more. It's
Correct.
the random. It's the unique ones where you actually stand out, where
Correct.
everyone does Christmas or holidays or whatever because it's.
Yep.
So that I took that away. I thought that was brilliant.
The other thing we also don't do as well is we don't do the crappy email Thanksgiving or like holiday blasts, which in my opinion is so inauthentic. So if we're gonna, I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Kristen, cancel the you and I
Sorry.
as elves dancing.
If we're gonna do something unique, that's cool. But if it's just like the cornucopia, like Thanksgiving, I'm like, come on. No, everyone just deletes those as quick as they come in. So, but anyways, that's just my opinion.
It ties back to the why of your team and of your business. And I think that's powerful because you didn't just choose Thanksgiving from a standpoint of not as many cards, but also the dynamic of it is what Thanksgiving is about, giving thanks. And I think that's a really powerful message in itself because we talk a lot about the power of branding and making sure that everything you do, it starts with your why you're doing it. And you make sure that it's portrayed in that.
Absolutely.
So it's powerful that you guys are continuing to do that in all that you do.
And it really, any good team is defined by its why, right? The Marine Corps, right? Semper Fi. Like you guys, as Marines, you know exactly what your mission and who you are as a culture, right? That is from the private to the general. You're all riflemen, right? The Eagles is here, right? There's a culture on that team, next man up, right? So any team that functions at a really high level has to know their why or their purpose. And we try to do on our team, not just me, but everyone on our team, is espouse that why of real estate with heart and caring. Because if you do that, at the end of the day, you're going to do good business.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And if you don't do good business, you at least feel good about yourself.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's key.
You're going to do good business.
But I love that you keep coming back to things that are simple. By no means are we saying anything that
Nope.
you've done is easy, but I love that you're keeping it simple,
Yeah.
so that anybody watching this can take away the fact that they can start applying what you're encouraging them to do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They just got to keep it simple and not be distracted by all
Correct.
these other things and all these other options.
You got it. And
Yeah,
one of
good
the
job.
greatest businesses that exists out there is selling stuff to realtors,
Mm.
right? Because we all want to
Yeah.
buy that silver bullet
Of course.
that'll, guide us through. But, the old school way of doing real estate is creating a relationship that produces a business relationship.
Yeah.
And if you hold that through,
Yeah.
you're going to do business.
It's almost a bit sad that he says old school and then says relationship. Like
Yeah.
it shouldn't be old school.
Correct.
It should just be school.
Yeah.
Take that. It's school.
Yeah.
Build relationships.
Build relationships. Yeah.
Because like we said, you can pay whatever amount of money, which is expensive these days,
Mhm.
right? You were
Yep.
talking about this
Yep.
for
Yep.
leads.
Yep. Correct.
And if stuff goes a little south, they're just only going to get more expensive and you're going
Correct.
to pay less.
Yep.
So
you got it. And the
relationship
conversion
wise.
rates are going to go down as well.
Mhm.
you know?
So let's do that again. We did this in class. The conversion rate on a referral is
85%. let's say.
okay. The conversion rate on an internet lead.
If you're very good, 5%.
Wow.
Right?
Come on.
So
Like,
let's
we
just
know this,
put
but
numbers there.
oh.
So you got to produce 100 internet leads to get 5 deals. You got to produce 6 referrals to get 5 deals.
Am I right?
That's unbelievable.
Right?
Right? Like we all know this. We just
Don't
think,
do
I think
it.
it's the mental block that there's capped. That I only know 10 people or 100 people, so I'm
Mhm.
only going to get 5 deals a year.
Yeah.
And you're proving it wrong.
Yeah,
Repeatedly.
correct.
Mhm.
Correct.
Okay, so
The other thing too, I wanted to say, it's scary. So calling someone that doesn't know you, who cares? They hang up on you, or that's corny, or whatever it is that they think of you. You will never know. So it's easy to do that call because of the fact it's not scary, and it makes ourselves feel good because we're being busy,
Mhm.
right? It's the difference between being busy and being effective.
Mm.
When you call the person you better have a good message to call with, or else they're going to be like, why are you calling me?
Mhm.
And you don't want that feeling or that response to someone that you know.
Right.
So the way we deal with that is we never reach out to anyone unless we're reaching out with something of value. So if I reach out to my sphere, I'm reaching out with something of value. I never beg. I'm not calling saying, do you know someone that's looking to buy or sell a house?
Right.
I'm saying, hey, we have this really great opportunity. It's an off-market listing. If you know someone that's looking to buy in Queen Village, let us know. We can get them in early, and it's maybe potentially get them this property in a very tight buyer's market or seller's market.
Mhm.
So, or we're doing a neighborhood cleanup. Is this something you'd want to participate in, or do you know someone that would? We're not saying anything about sales there, or do you know someone that's looking to buy or sell? We're saying who we are as a team and the values we have, that we care about the community. We want to clean it up, and then when they come across that conversation, that referral opportunity, they're going to put us out there. Do you know
So
what I
you
mean?
don't. So when you are providing that value at the end of it, do you say,
Potentially. Now, the nice thing
Something
about
like this.
calling people inevitably, most people are going to ask a question, how's business?
yeah,
So that's the window I'll use to enter that conversation.
okay.
Most of the time, if they don't bring it up, I don't bring it up
Mhm.
because of the fact, like, I'm calling you. If I'm calling about a business, like a sale or a listing, then maybe, hey, do you know of anyone else selling in Queen Village? We need listings.
Mhm.
Maybe. But inevitably, most people you call up that are sphere calls, you're going to get asked, how's business? How's the market? How's this? And that's that window that you can use
Yeah.
to authentically insert the request for business.
But I love that you're waiting for that window and not just having the call with the intention of the hidden agenda of asking for
You
a
got
referral.
it.
Right, it's
You
not
got it.
sneaky.
It's not sneaky.
So when someone gets off the phone with you, and let's say
Mhm.
they're expecting you to ask because the last agent did, but you don't.
Correct.
That right there is, again, exuding just your culture
got
of
it.
your team
Yep.
and the intention of that call, which was to provide value. And
Correct.
I guarantee most people when they get off the phone with you, kind of like, wait, he
Yeah.
actually cared. Or he
Yeah.
actually was just calling me to
Oh,
talk to
that's
me
cool.
about the thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people call, we've talked about this on prior podcasts, is sometimes people will call and they'll do the small talk first.
Yep.
And then they'll close it out with needing something.
Correct.
Instead of really genuinely calling because they care
Yeah.
and they're trying to create a relationship.
Correct.
Which you're saying that's old school sales and that's what we need to get back to.
Correct.
Is that relationship building, which may take more time,
Yep.
but it's going to be more lasting,
Yeah.
longer lasting.
A line that I want everyone to remember is give to get.
Oh, I
So
like that.
give to get.
Yes.
So don't try to take.
Yeah.
If you give, you're going to get stuff back.
See, that's Cristen to the T. She believes in that philosophy.
Yeah.
I love
What
your
happened to you?
philosophy. I don't have that.
Just kidding.
My philosophy is take as much as you
Yeah.
can before they realize what you're taking. It works.
I'm just
It works.
kidding.
So I got one last thing, which is you said something that I know Cristen would have loved, which is she just hosted a happy hour.
Okay.
There were like 30, 40 people there.
Awesome.
It always
Yeah.
feels good, right? But your biggest fear when you're hosting something is what?
No one's going to show up.
Yes.
No one's gonna show
Oh my
up.
God.
the worst.
I know.
So when he
It's
said
like
it, I was
taking me back to my 13th
Oh,
birthday
God.
party where my
I
parents got a
know.
DJ and all this awesome food and no one came.
Oh,
Because I had
God.
no friends.
Oh my God.
And so my mom and dad were, devastated for me.
Yeah.
And so it's that feeling every time I revert back to being a 13-year-old, like at the bar,
Yep.
looking around thinking no one's going to come.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to drink by myself. It's going
Yeah.
to be weird.
if
Yeah.
they saw you now, they would regret a whole bunch. But, so you said something though that completely, it's funny, 40 years old, still never thought about this way. What did you say? You said a line
Yeah.
about that.
It's another line I use. It's about the reach, not the result. So
Mm.
when you do an event, at the end of the day, the result is just the icing on the cake. The reach is the cake, right? So if you did that happy hour and your reach to the people you knew, your sphere was really solid. You sent an email blast, you had a postcard that went out, and the key is the phone call with the personal invite. That's the key. If you did all three things and no one shows up, that's fine because the reach was solid.
So let me clarify that too. I have 100 people.
Mhm.
I send them an email, multiple emails. I send them a handwritten note and I give them a call, but only 10 people show up. You're
Yep.
telling me that was a success. You did it
Absolutely. Because you know why? What you're doing is you're inserting into their mind the fact that, and as long as it's like a real estate related event, to an extent, like a home buyer happy hour, let's
right.
say,
Something real.
their mind, when they hear that phone call and you say, do you know anyone that this would benefit? What's their mind doing? They're thinking, do I know someone that's looking to buy a house that might want to learn about it? You know what? I don't right now. But then 2 days later, they come across a conversation. What comes to their mind? Oh my God, you should go. And even if they don't go, you're
Still a
putting
conversation.
yourself into
Yeah.
that conversation,
Right. See,
and
that's brilliant. That
Yeah.
makes it so much better. If there's
Yeah.
one thing to take away, it's that. It's
Yeah.
like you just do the prep right, and who
Yeah.
cares about the result?
correct,
Because we always care about the result. Even though she always gets good results, we're always nervous who shows up.
correct,
And
correct.
then the
Wow.
follow-up
Yeah.
in it as well. So what does that
Correct.
look like for you all?
So ideally, once again, with the reach, a lot of what people will do with events is they'll just do a Facebook invite,
Yeah.
right? And they're like, oh my God, I invited all these people. Yeah, but it's on Facebook. It's meaningless. So you got to make sure your reach leading up to the event is like really critical. And it has to be graduated, has to be, long enough, not too long in advance, but just like I like a month.
Yeah.
Email goes out, then they get the postcard, then they're getting the phone call leading up to it. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like this graduated invite.
Yeah.
After the event, one of the critical things then is the follow-up, the thank yous, the gratitude,
Yes.
right? So you got to, anyone that comes, you got to provide gratitude for coming. Do you know what I mean? Is there anything I can help you with? Thanks for coming, whatever it might be. The other thing you could do is the people that didn't come, if you're talking about 100 people, you write them a note, be like, hey, I'm sorry you missed the event. I'm looking forward to connecting you on the next one, or whatever it might be. So you can still leverage people that didn't come with this event, and then they're like, oh man, I missed it.
Yeah.
It's the next time you do something, now there's a little bit more likelihood.
touch.
Yeah, it's
They're
authentic.
touched. I think sometimes what
authentic.
happens is we find
Yeah.
exactly it's authentic, and
Yeah.
that's a lot of times I think people, when certain people say they're coming and they
Yeah.
don't show, they're disappointed, and
Mhm.
rather than have that, use as an opportunity for another touch.
Correct.
And then another one because they didn't come this month, maybe they'll come next month. Maybe now they feel
Yeah.
more obligated to come
Correct.
because you followed up and they couldn't make
You
it.
got
So
it.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
and it gets us
incredible.
focused too on action.
Yes.
Like the result is just like I said, it's icing, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you baked a cake and just if there was icing in a pile, it's not a good cake.
Mm-hmm.
Or you need the cake, and the action of the reach is
Mhm.
what you want to focus on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So-
Absolutely.
Oh, that
Just
makes sense.
awesome. Okay, so if
Yeah.
people want to find you to buy or sell a home with you, how do they find you?
Actually, you just Google Skye.
Just Skye.
No, I mean, Skye might come up. SKYE.
Yes. At the E.
And no, Real Estate with Heart is the name of our team. RealEstateWithHeart.com is our website. Super easy to connect to right in. info@realestateWithHeart.com is a good way. And honestly, you could just call me on my cell phone, 215-266-4643.
That's
Love it.
awesome.
Yeah, you only have like 7,000 five-star
That's okay.
reviews, so you're
Yeah.
doing something right.
Yeah.
Look, thank you so much for coming on the
Yes.
show. This
Thank
was
you.
phenomenal,
Appreciate it.
and you're obviously going to help so many people, so that was
You
awesome.
are.
Excellent. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for
Yeah,
your time.
thank you so much.
We appreciate it.
Great.
We really enjoyed the opportunity to sit down with Skye Michiels, and he was absolutely incredible to interview, and he was so vulnerable to give away his secrets and his ideas and methods for his success. And so, Jeff, what was your biggest takeaway from that time with Skye?
It's number one by so far that this is such an easy question. He has 5 database fields.
Oh yeah, it's incredible, isn't it?
He has 5
I
database
know I
fields.
even have way more than that in my own database.
Right.
Clean it up.
Right, and
Yeah.
5.
5.
And anybody who asked a question, he said, no, just 5. 5. And so all these people get caught up in, all you people, I just thought about that, you people, going back to that.
All y'all.
All y'all get caught up in tracking this and this and this and then this and then this database, and that is me. You want to talk about a downfall of me? It is, I set up the database because I was in technology, so I know I can do all these things and link things and make things happen and automate things, and I get so caught up and I got all these fields, and I have wasted, while I'm doing that, Skye is taking business.
Yep.
Taking business, like just think about that. While you're typing and preparing, someone is just taking business. And so 5 database fields would probably take most people 2 days set up. Start your business today. You have these 5 fields. You take 2 days, you have a database. 25 database fields, you never ever get it set up right, and you're always tweaking.
Right.
You know, like that's the difference. So it was just so brilliant to say that. I've never heard anybody say that. It makes me think that this is more important than, just like this is across all industries. He built a huge business off of 5 fields.
Yeah.
Amen.
It's incredible.
How about you? What was your biggest takeaway?
I'd say there were so many, and I didn't even get to attend his class that he taught because I was in another meeting. So just even the tidbits that he gave us, during our time with him there, loved the idea of doing a Thanksgiving Day card. So oftentimes it feels like we should be sending cards at holidays in December, birthdays. Those are all wonderful times to send cards. When you think about it, you're probably getting a lot of cards at that time. So you get bombarded with all these birthday cards or holiday cards in December. And then all of a sudden, you have nothing for the rest of the year. And I was thinking about when he was making this comment about sending a Thanksgiving Day card, because usually people don't send Thanksgiving Day cards. I was thinking of the times I've received a card unexpectedly and how much it meant to me. And while I love birthday cards and holiday cards, I was thinking about the times where I randomly got a note from Mac and Olivia's vet saying that I hope that they're doing well and hope that you're having a prosperous year in March. Maybe it was a late New Year's Day card, I don't know. But the fact that I got it randomly, I loved it. Or even just a random card from someone I've worked with prior, just literally just saying, hope you're well. I think it's incredible. And it comes so unexpectedly, so it's more meaningful. Because usually you open your mail anytime that's not around the holiday, it's bills. And it's tons of marketing, sales material, and most of it we just throw away without even looking at. And so it's exciting to receive something that's unexpected at a time when you would least expect it. So I think that is one concept that Skye mentioned that I certainly want to start applying is sending cards at times other than when they would expect to receive a card.
I think it's brilliant. Take 2 things away. Take those 2 things, your business will grow.
Oh, absolutely.
You'll stop wasting time, and you'll start standing out.
Absolutely.
And he brought it up, and I said the part about the St. Patty's Day card. It's just, he never expected it. And then I directly realized I gave business because of it. So be unique, stand out.
Yeah.
You threw me an incredible birthday party for my 40th birthday party. I know I look 25, but I
was agreeing with you.
Oh, no, I was just making.
I was agreeing.
Yeah, she was agreeing.
I was going to go back and watch this and be like, oh, she was agreeing.
She was. I knew you were agreeing. But when you threw that party for me, that's 40's the big party you get, right? Like, 30s, you can do a big part, but 40 is like, that's a big age. So I know people sent me cards. I couldn't tell you one I got, but I remember the St. Patty's Day card. So it just in that sense, it clicks for me. Like, it would be nice if a client, and I'm sure, actually, I know clients did. I know clients and vendors sent me a card. I just don't remember because there's so much going on that it's caught in the noise. Nobody sent me a St. Patty's Day card. No one sent me a Thanksgiving Day card. You're going to stand out so right. You're going to stand out so far, and people just won't forget it because it's never happened. Right. It's brilliant.
And he also said that he doesn't have the system of doing the birthdays and all of that, not because he doesn't care about your birthday, but because he knows that if he has that field, most likely he won't apply it. That's the difference here. If you know that you will consistently send birthday cards as well as a card at an unexpected time, an off holiday, so to say, then do both.
Right.
But for him and his business plan and the way he does things, he knew that if he had the birthday field, it would sit there stagnant and be junk, as Skye says, and not be something that he actually uses for his business. So he made the executive decision, I'm not going to use that field. But by all means, if you enjoy doing that, do that. Just think about applying this to your business as well.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Skye, we thought you were awesome. Do you want to give him a shout out for his?
Yes. So please go and find Skye on Facebook. His first name is Skye. Last name is Michiels, I believe. So both spelled a little different. Find Skye. He's doing what's called a Thankful Thursday, and really incredible things that he's doing for the community, and we really want to support him in this. So please go find Skye Michiels on Facebook. Follow, share, comment on his Thankful Thursday post. He's making a huge impact on the community in Philly, and we want to support that. So thank you, Skye, for supporting us and supporting all the agents out there with their business. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're huge fans, Skye.
Yes.
So awesome guy.
So from here, leading into our love section.
Love section, our love segment, our love part.
Our love part.
Before, can I tell you something?
Yes.
You look phenomenal today.
Thank you.
Right? Like she bought this outfit yesterday.
Guess where? For anybody that knows me, you're probably thinking, oh, let me guess, Target or Ross. You got it. Ross, the bargain shopper. And I popped in there yesterday, about once a month.
$1 million, though.
Thank you.
Maybe $2 million.
Oh, thanks. Even though it's more like 40.
Still, you look. I really like what you put together.
Thank you. Yeah, major bargain shopper. I like to add a few pieces to my wardrobe, like each month, just a couple, to keep it fresh and make me feel good because we're constantly in front of people, and so we get business professional just about every day. And it was fun. I popped in there yesterday and got a few new things. So thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate you. Right. That makes me feel good. So
she's a hottie. She's a hottie. She gets compliments. It's that simple, and I'm not afraid to do it in front of a camera. So I feel like it's.
So that is a wonderful compliment, which leads us into our topic, which is words of affirmation. And I have to say that I am someone who is incredibly uncomfortable with receiving compliments. And when Jeff gives me one, it makes me feel absolutely incredible. But when I receive positive feedback to the capacity of multiple people, I get uncomfortable. And it's interesting because I learned this many years ago, and I think it's the attention. I would rather tell people how wonderful they are and pour into them than have it poured into me. And this was made clear even more so at Bold on Wednesday at our training, because we did that whole thing where everybody gets a cup of water and you go around the room and you give someone a gratitude and you pour your water into their cup and you walk away. And the reason you walk away is because you're not expecting that they would return words of gratitude to you, right? Because it's not about giving to get, it's about giving to give. And so I realized in that moment, if two people came up to tell me something, I got so uncomfortable. And so it was an interesting thing for me to realize that I need to accept kind words of affirmation and gratitude when it comes to business and what they've seen and the way I've helped them, because it's so important to them that they let me know how I've helped them, that I need to take time to realize that they want to share that with me and I need to be accepting of it. Not just smile and nod and go, that was nice of them, but actually allow myself to absorb what they've said. And so with this, words of affirmation, something that we've started to do. And I am uncomfortable saying words of affirmation. And it's an interesting dynamic. So I look forward to hearing feedback from people about whether this is something you can get up and look in the mirror and say, I am wonderful. I live, a life of complete fulfillment. I am enough. I have everything I need. I look forward to hearing who says that and just feels fantastic, or who says that and goes, okay, this is a little uncomfortable for me. This is something I need to keep practicing. And so it's just been an interesting thing. But I have to say, it talks to the water experiment a bit in the beginning of this episode, is when we speak things to each other, we can fill each other's buckets, so to say, or we can take from each other. And it's interesting how when you're someone that enjoys filling others' buckets and you have a hard time accepting for yourself, you realize you have so much more to give when you do accept from others. And so I felt so supported, cared about, appreciated, and just confident in my ability to help people after that water session there in Bold, when we were pouring water into each other's cups. And it was an incredible moment. And I now, applying the daily words of affirmation, it's something that I want to get better at, is being able to speak what I desire to have or will have, to speak that into my daily life. It's just it's a different type of thing.
Well, thanks for sharing that, because it's a big thing. Affirmation. So to define an affirmation is saying something as though it already exists. I'm affirming what is true today. So Chris and I have been doing this in the morning. I will say something to her and then she will confirm it. So to give an example, I am a great person. I am a great business owner. And today will be a great day. That's enough. So I'm sorry. So that's it's me saying it. It's about me, and it is not. I hope today is great. I'm not hoping. That's not affirming.
Right.
That's hoping.
Or it will be.
It is a great day. It is
Yes,
a great
it
day.
is.
It is a great day. I am a great person today, right now.
Yes.
And so I say that, so that I'm telling myself, and then your wonderful partner can say something like.
I may not remember that.
So here.
So
I
you are a great person. You are a great salesperson, coach, everything. And today will be a great day.
And thank you.
You're welcome.
Even in this role play practice, and you can do this yourself, you'll feel that felt really good. It all feels good.
It does.
You say it. Now you are uncomfortable, and I'm not saying I'm much more comfortable with this, but I've been doing this for a long time because I realized how powerful it was. When you start giving yourself affirmations, you will feel most likely like, I don't think this is true. And then later, I don't know how much later, 2 seconds, 2 minutes, 2 weeks, 2 months, 2 years, I don't know what it is. You look in the mirror and you say something and you're like, it's true. You say it differently. I'm a great person. It just hits. But if, in the same way, you can affirm anything you want. If you look in the mirror and go, I just don't look the way I should. I just don't look the way I should. I'm not good enough. You will poison yourself down.
Oh gosh,
and
yes.
you will take away piece by piece.
Well, think about the times where even in a day where you go, is a really bad start to my day. It's going to be a bad day.
It's going to be a bad day.
Most likely, it's going to be a bad day. Even if nothing else happens, anything that does happen, or any hurdle or any roadblock, it's going to be horrible based on the way that you've talked that into being. Whereas if you have a rough start to your day, I'd love to do like a shout out to Derek Ryan on the Chris and Caleb team in my office. He had a really rough start to his day on Wednesday morning. And he is someone who is always on time. He respects the value of time significantly. And he walks in late to Bold. And my first thought is something must have happened, because that's not Ducky, as we call him, Derek Ryan, but he goes by Ducky. And he then later shares that he had a really rough morning. And I love what he said. And what he said was, yeah, I could let it be a really bad day, something along these lines. Not going to be a perfect quote, but it's going to be a great day. It's going to be a great day. And I've decided, I could be negative, but I'm not going to be. So that was public words of affirmation. He could have said, it's been a rough day. I'm going to try to make it better. I'm going to see what happens. Okay, so that's though saying it that way is you're unsure, so your body and your mind are unsure. But he said, it's going to be a great day. I will not be negative. Mm-hmm. And so he spoke that in. And he seemed to have had an incredible bold and had a great time. And so it's incredible to see that. An affirmation then said publicly in front of a room of 70 people, 68 people, and see the power of it.
Mm-hmm. So to take from this, what can you take from this? A few small, simple things that you need to dedicate to doing. And we'll say that there's a lot of studies about how long does it take to create a habit. I'll tell you from my belief, I talk about the Marines, the military all the time. Boot camp in the Marines, boot camp in the Army is like 8 weeks, 9 weeks. Boot camp in the Marines is 11 weeks. That is not, to me, in any way unintentional. They realize that to transition you from civilian to Army, civilian to Marine, and how different you are after those 11 weeks. 11 weeks is probably what it takes. It takes 3 months. There's a book about 66 days. There's all this stuff. Mm-hmm. But so if you want to change your entire life, every day look in the mirror and give yourself an affirmation. And things like, I am wonderful. I am, whatever your job is, I am a great software developer. I am in charge of my day and my day will be great. We have a good friend. I have a good friend, John Brogan. He says there's no such thing as a bad day. It's impossible. No matter what happened to you in the worst part of your day, in the worst day, there was something in there that was good. So there can't be a bad day. It's you woke up and you had breakfast. That was great. There was a good part to your day, no matter how bad it is. And we all know we've had horrible days. So these attitudes. So you say that to yourself every single day. The way to get one better is to find a partner who will help to hold you accountable. That's Chris and I are partners in this, where we wake up and we say an affirmation, and she confirms it. So she listens to what I say, just like you heard, and she says, "You are a." She confirms everything, and watch your life change. Watch your life change when you start doing this stuff.
And just to go with this, I want to take a moment to thank everyone for their positive feedback with our podcast. This has been something we've said numerous times. This is something we jumped into. We said we would be intentional about how many episodes we did. We committed to 10. We then decided we wanted to create a brand and a logo, and we wanted to do more than just do the individual episodes. We wanted to do small segments. If you couldn't watch the full hour or 50 minutes, then we would just do the small segments. We offer it in video, we offer it in audio, and we have picture updates, that kind of thing. And the feedback is so meaningful, and I don't think that we could possibly say how much it means when we just write, "Thank you so much for your feedback." So from someone who has a hard time, accepting constant affirmation and gratitude, I want to make sure that we stop and say thank you so much for taking time to do that, because it means the world to us when we're out and about and someone that we didn't even know has watched our show says, "Oh, thank you guys so much for talking about this. It was really helpful." Or you send us a private Facebook message and you let us know, your feedback on the show. And it's been incredible. I mean, this is the feedback that we're getting. And it doesn't all have to be positive, but the fact that we are getting so much positive and that you all are taking time to share that means so much to us. And we're constantly talking about it. And in turn, it's changing our view of this. And we are thinking bigger picture. How many more people can we help? How much more of an impact can we make? And it is truly spurring us on, and it's making our days. So thank you so much for that.
I couldn't say anything beyond that. It was perfectly said. And we hope that what we give back to you helps you improve your life and or improve the people around you. Give gratitude. So one more thing. Let's just take 2 minutes for this. One more thing is our teacher, Michael Flores, who's phenomenal coach.
He is.
Said, "I want you to pull out your phone." So do this right now. Do this right now. Pull out your phone. Take the 2 seconds. Someone you care deeply about. Mom, dad, spouse, whatever. I want you to text them something that is all filled with gratitude. Something like, "Mom, I just want to let you know I appreciate all that you've done for me in my life. I love you so much. Thank you for all that you do for me." Something to that, like all gratitude, just how gracious you are for them in your life. And then hit send, and put the phone down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we can't wait long enough for the response to come. But when the response comes in, let me tell you what my mother said.
Mm-hmm.
My mother responded with, okay, what's wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Now, our coach said, because he made us put our phones down, he said, when they respond, he said, all right, pick up your phones. What did everybody say? He goes, let me guess. What happened? What's wrong? What do you need?
Mm-hmm.
And I did not, did you see that coming? Did you know that was going to happen?
No. No.
I was lost on this. I was like, how does he know? He said, it's this simple. If they're asking what happened, what's wrong, what do you need, you don't show them gratitude enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, boy, that hit me.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, that hit me.
I was surprised that your mom had sent that. And so that, I instantly was like, yeah, we've got to make sure that we tell her more often how wonderful she is. Because we say it to each other, right? So I think because we say to each other, she's wonderful, she's incredible, great grandma, she cares so much, she is so selfless, she does so much for everybody. Because we say that to each other, we just assume maybe that she knows or forget to tell it to her.
And she's my mom, so I'll give her a hard time.
Yeah,
But
there's
you're
that.
right.
But then
You
she
get
sent
lost.
it and I go, oh, I thought she would have said like, thanks, I know I'm great, like said something cute, or I appreciate it, have a good day. But instead there was a moment of something must be wrong if he's saying it. And that was an incredible moment to stop and go, we need to say it more.
So what a great window into your relationships with people you care about. Write to them, and on their response, you can take full responsibility at that moment for how often you show them gratitude. An incredible thing.
It is. Yeah, I look forward to hearing if that happens to you all and who it happens with.
Yeah, what happens? So
My
please,
mom sent back kissy emojis, so I was like, okay, I'll take that.
yes, she's much better to her mother than I am to mine. So
That's
I got
not what I'm saying
at all. So we hope you enjoyed that so much. We have
Yes.
absolutely loved these 7 episodes. Look forward to we have
Way
8,
more
9.
way more than 10.
Oh, we're already saying we're doing way more than 10? Oh, wow.
I intend to do way more
I
than 10.
intend. See, you are a rock star. So thank you so much for hanging with us, Skye Michiels, and all the great feedback we got from him and everything for episode 7. We can't wait to see you episode 8.
All right. Bye, guys.